What's up? What's up? What's up? Got a lot of reverb in this one.
Yeah.
Bouncing off the walls.
It's that room.
As you guys can see, we have a new setup.
Boom.
For episode 25 of the Terrible Reception podcast.
Yeah.
We have a new studio space. As you can see, everything looks different.
Fancy.
Vibes always gonna hit. You will not hear the angry train anymore, unfortunately and fortunately.
You'll just hear the fireworks furnace.
Yes. So we might get a little project heat going on. Might hear some banging of the furnace. I never understood that. Why does the furnace like bang like that? It sounds like literally somebody like Troll or an alien is like
little
bing,
lead
bing.
going in and stuff.
Well, anyway, Terrible Reception podcast episode 25. Maybe I should record a little further away.
Wait, no, I got you. Level it out. There
we go. That's better.
Yeah.
Anyway, follow us on YouTube.
Yes.
Like, subscribe, leave a comment, leave a rating, leave everything. Everything looks good. Numbers. Everybody looks for numbers.
Everything
I hate
looks
it.
good.
We do this because we love it, but unfortunately, they like numbers. Apple Podcasts. Make sure to leave a rating, leave a review. That way it bumps us up in the podcasts. And also Spotify. Make sure you follow us on Spotify. That way you can get notifications for every time we drop an episode. And also on YouTube, make sure to hit that little bell too. If you hit that little bell, you get a notification every time we drop a video, whether it's a music video, lyric video, which we've been doing lately, and a podcast video. So,
you know what I imagine? And you know, I talk about like all they do is care about numbers. I imagine like how you're like, damn, who runs this industry? And like you make it to the final level, like you're in this corporate office, and like the chair turns around, and it's the Count from Sesame Street.
I thought you were gonna say the dude from Inspector Gadget,
no.
The guy with the cat with the metal arm.
That guy too.
Since it's episode 25, I want to celebrate two things. Before we get started,
yes,
my name is Jay Suarez, aka International Poppy, one of your hosts of the Terrible Reception podcast. And directly in front of me is
Parlay of Benetton, killing it since 1987. You know what I'm saying?
You've been killing it since you jumped out the womb.
That's it. Okay. That's it. I was ready for this podcast.
So we're recording the episode on the 19th of December. But by the time this drops, it's going to be the 25th.
Guess what? That's Christmas. That's a present.
So people asked us to do a holiday edition.
Jingle bells,
of the Terrible Reception podcast. So what I did was I purchased us.
Oh, snap.
Little themes.
Damn. Look at that.
Put that on. We'll switch real quick.
Star Wars themed Christmas hat. Oh my God. And it has to do with like Baby Yoda. Hold on.
How's it look?
Sexy. Oh my God, this is a small.
Freaking big ass head.
Jesus. You forgot how big my head was.
It was supposed to be one size fits all, but apparently it's not.
Apparently. This head
It looks good though. The ears fit almost where they're supposed to go.
Do they pop out?
They have to pop out.
Yeah. Does it look like it's actually coming out of my head now?
Kinda. There you go.
Wait.
Yeah. There you go.
How's that?
Well, put it off to the side because you can't see the star. There you go. There it is.
Yeah.
In celebration of Baby Yoda and Star Wars dropping in tomorrow, right?
Yeah, 12 o'clock.
Yeah, man.
I was trying to watch it at 11:45 tonight.
That's
not happening.
It might.
Yeah.
I guess not.
I want to, but...
Are tickets available still?
Yeah, tickets were available, but probably by not that time.
Okay. Anyway.
Star Wars fan in the building.
Another thing I wanted to celebrate is episode 25, holiday special. I also want to notify everybody that we are officially a few weeks, past it, but we hit our 1 year anniversary.
Oh, wow.
Of the podcast.
Damn.
This is where I insert the audience clap.
We're like a quarter to 100 episodes.
Yeah, man. So it's been a challenge the whole year trying to knock out episodes on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
But we were able to do 25 episodes.
Wow.
How many weeks are there in a year? 48, something like that?
Yeah.
So about half.
So
it's not on
bad.
average every other week.
Yeah.
We release this episode.
Mm-hmm.
which is pretty dope considering
this,
all the stuff that we do.
When we first discussed this, it was almost seemed overwhelming that we would take on a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
But then it became easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
It's fun too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we've been figuring out how to consistently pump out episodes.
Yeah.
While trying to keep up with everything else that we do.
And it got easier and easier.
Yeah. I think we got a pretty good format now.
Yeah. I wish we had like for this episode, since it is a holiday episode, I wish we had like a Yule log in the background.
A what?
A Yule log.
What is that?
Have you ever seen a Yule log is literally like a special type of wood they burn in the fireplace.
Okay.
So it's like constantly burns and it gives that nice atmosphere. And sometimes you could find it on the TV, you know, like channel 11 during Christmas or something. So they'll put it on.
Like a screensaver.
Yeah, and it plays all day. So it's like you can have a TV fireplace.
We could put it on that screen right there. I don't know if you can see the reflection on the window.
That would have been like super funny.
But yeah.
I want to ask you, since it is a holiday episode, and everybody has like a different, I guess, understanding or view of like the holidays. Like, what are your top 5? Well, let's simplify it. What's your top 3 things that really make the holiday?
Top 3. I would say, what would make it official for me? Just like what makes it feel like the holidays?
The holiday spirit when it comes around. Like, what are the 3 things that you need to see going on, even if it's your household or in the streets or wherever? Like, what are those 3 things that kind of bring that spirit your way?
The Christmas tree definitely being up.
Nice.
At my house.
Who takes care of that?
My mom does.
Nice. I thought so.
She always puts it up like, it used to be like right after, I would say like Thanksgiving. Like maybe Black Friday she would put it up. Now it's like the week of.
Jay's living room always looks like a nice display at like Bed Bath & Beyond when you first walk in.
Seriously.
So props to mom. She's doing her thing.
She does. So now I feel like it gets put up earlier and earlier.
Okay.
I don't know if my mom is.
Maybe she's in tune with the market now. You know how
that's what I'm saying. I don't know if she's buying into the idea of the longer Christmas tree is up, or the longer holiday decorations are up, the happier her house is. That she's trying to drown herself in holiday stuff.
I like it.
So the Christmas tree being up is one of them. Christmas music everywhere.
Okay.
Is a big indicator. And whether I hate it or not, for some reason, snow always makes it.
And you told me that recently when we were grabbing ice cream that one night. You were like, I've been listening to Christmas music.
Yeah, it's relaxing.
Yeah. Some people find it the opposite. Yeah, I know a lot of people that say like they can't stand it because they work that 9 to 5 job.
Usually people that work in retail. Yeah. Now that I don't work in retail, it's like
Best Buyers. Nice. I bet you're never in the holiday spirit.
They hate it.
Yeah.
Because I used to work at Best Buy years ago, and that's all you hear from like right after Halloween. Yeah. Like a couple weeks after Halloween, that's when they start cranking that shit in.
I just imagine like the Best Buyers like bring their own like self-made pitchforks for Black Friday. Like trying to keep customers away.
Well, the funny thing is that we used to the Thanksgiving, which would be Black Friday Eve, I guess.
Okay, yeah.
We would.
Sounds so deadly.
I know, right? We would watch 300, the movie 300.
Nice. Get you pumped.
Co-workers get us pumped up for. We didn't kill anybody, thankfully, but
that's funny.
So I had a couple people ask me a couple questions the other day.
Yeah.
And I'm going to see how we can answer these. Somebody asked us to do an episode where you speak Spanish and I speak French.
Interesting. Let's try.
So that kind of makes no sense because I don't know any French.
Maybe I'll have to. Well, I can type it in for you, and then you'll try to best pronounce the sentence or words.
Okay. We would have to probably like lay that out first, kind of just like structure it a little bit. That way we're not all over the place. But somebody did ask a question. Is it difficult to learn French?
Who's the person asking? Do you know their background or anything? Because I usually tell the people
Dominican.
Okay, they're Dominican, so they know Spanish, so it's Latin based. They'll find like a lot of similarities in certain words. Like when we say the word shit, it's merde versus merde. well, I kind of said in still in a French way, mierda and merde is like
very close. Yeah,
they sound very similar. So certain things like that you'll catch.
I find it difficult saying certain words.
Yeah, but the thing is, you know what it is? I mean, if you have the help from an outside source that knows French, I think I tell most people, because I've had a lot of French people that they say that they're intimidated to speak English because they don't want their accent to be heard. And I said, okay, first of all, that's the most charming part about anybody speaking your native tongue to you from a different country. Like, what do we love? We love English accents. We love French accents. We love Italian accents. They're charming. Australian accents. They're charming, right?
Yeah.
So I say, like, be less paranoid as someone learning the language to communicate the language. If you can, like, get the word somewhat or whatever, just focus on that. Don't really focus on the accent, because guess what? You're going to end up cute or charming to the girl or the guy or anybody that you're talking to, you know. And that's it. Like, enjoy it. Like, just if you have somewhat of a passion, or you feel like you're going to be able to use it, or you're really interested in language. Like, I even back in the day, I was borrowing some library videos to learn Japanese, and there's like certain things I caught on to, and others I couldn't really do. So I think it's fun. Yeah, do it.
I'm gonna ask you a question in Spanish. See if you can figure out what I'm asking you.
Okay.
¿Cómo celebran las Navidades? Los Benetton.
Los Navidades.
¿Cómo celebran?
How do I celebrate?
Las Navidades.
How do I celebrate Christmas? You got a little fuzzy on your chin. There you go. It's from the.
It's part of the swag.
Yeah. I don't know if it was there the whole episode, but I just noticed it.
Hey.
So how do I celebrate Christmas? I did pretty well on that one. All right, cool. Celebrating Christmas, interesting.
How would you ask that question in French? So we'll compare it, see if it sounds any different, because it sounds very close to Spanish, English.
Wait.
¿Cómo celebran? How you celebrate las Navidades?
Comment va? Oh, no, it's like how are tu vas? Yeah.
Should I ask Siri?
No. I'm just so rusty. Tu vas? No. Because celebrate isn't like, you can say celebrate sounds similar, but there's another word like. Hold on. I feel stupid right now. See, that's the thing. When it comes to French, when I'm under pressure, like when somebody asks me, I go blank. If I have to say it on my own, I'm like running my mouth all day. But to answer your first question first, how do I celebrate Christmas?
I guess you could answer the same question that you asked me. What are the top 3 things?
Top 3 things?
That make...
You know what it is? I love like the wintertime coziness, kind of like the warmth of a house. Lighting is big for me. Like when I see like that, you know, those nice little, that warm lighting from a household in the streets, or like the nice lighting like set up, you know, that are on like trees or stuff like that. I think that adds like a lot of atmosphere. I kind of like, I love the smell, like, or like certain like foods or stuff, like, because you know how like Thanksgiving comes around and you're like, okay, holidays here, because you're smelling certain things being baked. Like maybe you're smelling a little more nutmeg and cinnamon in there.
And I was gonna say pine cones.
Yeah, pine cones. The smell of pine cone. Yeah, like that type of stuff is very nostalgic and comforting. So I feel like anything that's nostalgic or comforting is really nice. I really like the type of Christmas music I would say that I enjoy the most is kind of like closer to that Gregorian chant, like choir. Yeah, like I like, you know, stuff like that. The one that seems like it's the opening to a magical story. I think my mom's always prepared like a really, really nice dinner table. Like kind of, I said it in Elevated too. It's one of those things that always stuck with me, and I had to put into a song, because it's like, as the dinner party goes around, like I said, when you see people having good conversation, when you see people like kind of like playing around with the bottom of the wine glass, talking to each other, like I wanted to emphasize all those like dinner party attributes that have always been celebratory to me.
Mm-hmm.
And the best part of the night to me, I know this sounds weird, is that like when everybody, like when you smell that coffee being made, and then like say like the candle's burning low, so somebody burns it out and all you smell is the wick plus the coffee,
Mm-hmm.
and you know you had a nice like dinner party.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's like the most charming part of like a celebratory party.
Yeah.
And especially around the holidays. So
Is there anything in France that's particular to France about the holiday?
I know that like my dad, I don't know if this is everybody, but I mean certain places like Germany have certain places, but like France, I think a lot of the time it's always like champagne, roasted duck, and turnips are like more of like a seasonal holiday dinner thing that you'll have. But
Mm-hmm.
Christmas is like kind of Christmas. It's kind of like, I think Christmas comes from Norwegian or Swedish based,
Mm-hmm.
Santa Claus and stuff like that. So yeah.
So you were saying duck and turnips
Yeah.
are particular to
My
that
dad,
particular holiday?
yeah. I know like even if you go into the city, if anybody goes to New York to a French restaurant during the holiday, usually they have orange duck. It's usually the skin is has orange glaze, and they usually serve it with like potatoes or a turnip. And this is what France makes. It's a dessert. It's called bûche de Noël.
Bûche de Noël.
So it's basically, it represents a Christmas log in snow, and what it's made of is like a very
What does bûche mean?
it's like a log. Just that's what it's like, a log. It translates to a log.
Is la bouche?
Bûche de
French?
Noël. No, bûche is mouth. Yeah,
Remember the group La Bouche?
Yeah.
Or is it La Bouche?
I don't know how they pronounce it. But like,
to look it up real
what I
quick.
was
Go.
gonna say is that it's kind of made out of like a chocolate cake with
Mhm.
like cream filling, and they swirl it, so it's like a thin layer cake. So they roll it, and then when they cut it, it's like cream in the middle, and then they put like more cream on top, and they kind of put like with a fork, so it looks like I don't know, like a tree bark.
Hmm.
And then they put like snow and little mushroom caps made out of macaroons.
You
You know what I'm saying?
okay. So I guess that's why they called it
Yeah.
bouche.
It kind of has
So the log of Noah.
I don't want to diss this. Yeah, like I don't want to diss this, but it's kind of like that same consistency and makeup of like a chocolate Twinkie type of thing. You know what?
So it's like a spongy cake.
It's a spongy cake, but very like creamy and soft.
Ooh.
So like when you cut it, like that's a dessert that like.
So it's like chocolate or like yellow.
So it's chocolate.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Yeah.
So it's like essentially it's a chocolate.
Yeah, so
Twinkie.
it's usually like white cream, and then like what makes the bark is like they're usually in cocoa. You know what I'm saying?
I see.
Maybe if
To
I
give it
find
that
a
like,
picture.
why am I having deja vu right now?
Oh my god,
Have we had this conversation before?
maybe it's too French.
Oh my god. So La Bouche. This is La Bouche for anybody. I'm dating myself right now, but I don't know if you guys remember this song. Hopefully we don't get flagged.
It's a Yule log, like I said. Here, it's as that background. You can play the background as I'm saying it. So like, a Yule log is a traditional dessert served near Christmas, especially in Belgium, France, Switzerland,
Gotta do
Canada.
it to the beat.
Yeah. Switzerland, Canada, Lebanon, former French colonies, as well as the United Kingdom and Colonia, made of sponge cake to resemble miniature actual Yule log. It's
Hey,
form
hey.
of sweet roulade.
Ooh, hey.
So we eat
Oh
this.
shit. You know what this looks like? It looks like especially that first one. It looks like it's like a Hostess cake
Yeah.
too.
You know what
devil
I'm talking-
dogs?
Something like that.
Yeah,
It's like a huge devil dog. And
I see.
but
Yeah.
they're like $25
makes it look
a
like-
dessert plate, like at a French
makes it look like a log. Yeah.
Yeah.
This one has mushrooms on it. And
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
What the fuck?
My dad makes it like it's really good.
Is this the one with the macaroons?
Yeah.
There's the macaroons.
Yeah, they make it out of like macaroons and to look like a mushroom.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in the Dominican household, it's just like family getting together, eating, and playing old school like merengues and shit.
Okay. I
Dancing.
thought you were gonna say like kind of like dominoes or something.
Mm-hmm. You know what? There's actually some people that play dominoes, but I linked a childhood trauma to
Christmas.
why I didn't like desserts. Remember how I was always like
Yeah,
not a big dessert person?
And
I
this
was thinking about
changed-
this the other day.
This changed because once Jay went keto,
Yeah,
he got a
I have
sweet
a crazy sweet tooth. So background story: I wasn't a big like dessert person, so I never really like cakes or ice cream.
Frustrated the
and stuff like
shit
that.
out of me because
Yeah.
I'll always be like, "Hey Jay, you want to get dessert?" And he's like, "Nah, let's just get the check." I'm like,
Yeah, because I'm always like that person that would rather have more of the entree
"Okay."
than leave room for dessert. And now I'm like the
Opposite.
complete opposite.
I'm French. Like I've always left room
Yeah,
for dessert.
but I linked a childhood trauma to it because I was thinking about this the other day, and I remember when I was younger, I had like crazy social anxiety to the point where if it was my birthday, I didn't like attention. So I would like freeze up when they would sing happy birthday to me. And also they would basically, so it was like this crazy, every party always had a piñata.
Okay.
And I hated it because, you know, everybody gets a little string or you hit the piñata and it bursts or whatever.
Oh my god.
But then they had the ones that had all the strings where all the kids can participate, pull the string and all the candy drops.
Yeah.
I was that kid that would pull the string or not even pull the string, and then the candy's all over the floor. Everybody's fighting for the candy, and I'm just like,
And then one hit you on the head, and you're like,
yeah,
I'm
basically.
bleeding.
Everybody's grab the candy, and I'm just like frozen stiff. But
So
anyway,
sweets gave you the creeps.
no, I'm not there yet. So that's just a background story of my social anxiety when I was younger. But when I was younger, at holiday parties, you did not get cake unless you danced.
Oh man.
So picture this.
You ain't trying to dance for nobody.
Exactly. So kid that was like super traumatized about like social anxiety, social settings, any kind of attention.
If you wanted cake.
Imagine being 7 or 8 years old.
Damn.
You really want cake, but the only way you can get cake is if you fucking danced in front of everybody.
See, I think I wanted sweets more because it was such a taboo thing where it was like, apparently I had like intense allergies. So I couldn't have like dairy or anything that involves sweets. So my grandma, like my mom remembers this story where it's like everybody was having dessert. And I went to my grandma and I was like, Grandma, can I smell the chocolate wrapper? And she started like tearing up and she's like, why can't this child have chocolate? So then when I grew up, I kind of like OD'd. And like, as you know, I have a sweet tooth for like brownies. Like I'm not the guy like, all right, if I do eat candy, maybe it's like those little Coca-Cola bottles from Habrio. Is it Habrio?
The chocolate ones?
No. Like the little Coke bottles, like they're like gummies.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've never had those.
Those are really good. Like peach rings. I like all the weird candies.
Like the ones that are always in that bowl at grandma's house.
But like at the same time, that's not like my lane. Like I don't love intense sweets. Like I'm the apple pie and like ice cream guy. I'm the brownie and ice cream guy. I'm the pastry guy.
Yeah.
Like I love those type of sweets all day. Like
You French as fuck.
but I can't like, you know what I'm saying? I can't do a whole bag of Sour Patch Kids.
Oh, no.
Which like a lot of people do. They just like,
It's like
go
a bag
in.
of candy.
It's like a bag of
Bag of
coloring.
candy. Bag of fucking
Cancer?
a bag of sugar and food coloring.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Yeah. I'm definitely more on the side of like ice cream and pastries now.
Did you ever have like a weird uncle coming over during the holidays?
Oh, everybody has a weird uncle. I have 2 of them.
I only had
three.
Oh,
I have 3 weird uncles. 1 on my dad's side and 2 on my mom's side.
I always like my family's small though. Like if when I get married one day, I'm just gonna like it's gonna be like 3 people in a pew, and like I don't know, maybe more on the other side.
You're gonna live at a church?
No,
Just be in a pew. All 3 of you guys.
That reminds me too. Like a lot of holiday trauma came when our family had to work for a church, and oh man, it'd be around the holidays, but still sometimes like funerals will happen. And like even though like it was an Orthodox church, so what they do is they keep the body in the church overnight. And my parents were always like, all right, we have to go downstairs and clean the toilets. Can you go upstairs and vacuum between the pews?
Oh my god.
And I'm like 14, like vacuuming the same pew for like an hour.
Richard, they have me in the basement.
So when everybody's like at church and stuff, like, oh my god, I love church and stuff, I'm like, nah. Not be.
There you go, linking childhood trauma to you not celebrating any kind of religion.
No.
Speaking of weird uncles, I have an uncle, if any of my cousins are listening to this from my dad's side, that plays Jesus during Easter Sunday. I don't know if he still does, but while growing up, he would do that.
Is he the ones that like kind of like gets like whipped and stuff like that?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So
that's intense.
In the Heights, there's one particular church reenacts the whole like crucifixion of Jesus.
Okay.
So they have my fucking uncle.
What's his name? Oh wait, let's not put it out there.
Juan Carlos.
Juan Carlos.
My crazy uncle.
Okay.
I used to take karate classes with him. My dad used to force me because he would like, my dad's like his older brother. So he'd be like, you ain't charging my kid to take karate classes.
Why do I imagine they like act
Poor
like
guy.
stepbrothers?
Yeah. But anyway.
We're best friends.
During Easter, like the Easter weekend.
Yeah.
They reenacted the whole crucifixion of Jesus. So there's one particular church does that, and
not traumatizing at all.
He literally walks up and down Washington Heights with a big cross on his back.
That's a
People
lot of blocks.
reenacting the whipping and all that stuff. And then when they post up in front of the church, they tie him up to the cross.
I don't know why this shouldn't be funny, but it is.
Dude. So
you know what I think?
Jesus, he always had the long hair too.
Oh my God. Because the craziest part, like my first experience in the Heights, right? When Antoine brought me to the Heights was
the church. Funny, the church was like 3 blocks from there.
He took me to it. He took me. Is it the one where like Mother Mary's in a glass? You can see it.
That sounds like all the Catholic churches in the Dominican neighborhood.
It was like on the border between like the Heights, the Spanish part, and like the Jewish part. Mm-hmm. So he took me there, and like all.
No, that was probably right down the street from the school we went to.
Gotcha.
St. Elizabeth School. Yeah.
So like it was one of those things where like all I remember is the ladies with the mangoes on the sticks. I thought that was genius. So I just imagine one like crying like, Jesus, eat mango before you die. Like
he's just walking up the street with this big cross
and a mango on a stick.
Eating the mango on a stick.
Before you rise.
Yeah, that's one of my crazy uncles, man.
That's crazy. Well, Juan Carlos, maybe you can one day get your acting union rights.
Oh boy, let me see if there's any other questions. Do you have anything you want to talk about?
What was one of those things that you really anticipated for as a kid and maybe have gotten for Christmas, like present wise?
You know what we used to do?
What was that?
Kind of ashamed about it now that I think about it. I mean, we didn't grow up in the best of circumstances. My parents did what they could, but they used to make us write these letters, right, to Santa Claus. Okay. And then we would magically get these gifts, right, sent to the house.
Okay.
And then, putting two together, years later, I realized that we were writing to rich white people who would send us gifts.
Oh my God.
And we used to think that it was Santa Claus. I mean, we caught on later on. We used to ask for like more and more expensive stuff, and then we started thinking it was weird that we're not getting anything.
Thankfully to my grandparents, my parents, like, they do what they could too. But I know my grandparents, like, a lot of the time they made it happen, and it was the whitest of Christmas. Like, basically,
like white people white or like snowy white?
It was both. No, it was really good. My grandparents really made it like so.
Wait, did you guys leave the cookies for Santa?
This is the thing. My mom, you know how my mom is, right? Mm-hmm. My mom was so intricate with this whole setup. Like, okay, check this.
Do you do the elf on the shelf?
No, we don't do elf on the shelf. But we do have like a Swedish version, which is kind of like more decorative. I mean, it is decorative, period, but like it doesn't look like that. You know what I'm saying? So my grandma has Swedish background. That's where my mom gets this whole, like, she loves Christmas in this sense. So my grandma used to take me and my grandpa, and she'd be like, until the cart's full, like at Toys R Us, get what you like. And then they would take note of it, or they have my mom take me into the car. I don't know how they did it, but they made sure they got like everything I want, like Ninja Turtles and all that stuff. Super, super kind of them. But my mom made like she make me write a letter to Santa, leave cookies and milk. So she like eat like half of the cookie, leave the crumbles all over the place, like make sure the milk was like spilled a little bit.
Were they gluten free?
Yes. Yes. That's a good point. But also what was really cool is that she like, let's go outside maybe, because we lived in an apartment building, sixth floor. Mm-hmm. So it'd be snowing the next morning, and she's like, oh my God, look what I found. And it'd be like a half-eaten carrot she left for the reindeer. So I guess my mom's like eating the carrot all crazy at night. And then like she would like leave like bells like on the what is that, not the patio, the
porch.
Mm-hmm. So like it was like in the snow, and like I remember stuff like that. That was like really like super cool.
I just picture like the reindeer, like, oh shit, they're coming downstairs. Left the bells.
Yeah, but my mom was like, oh my god, like the way she thought out that stuff, it was like pretty intense.
Super white.
But it made it like, again, it was like such a magical, especially like for me. I was the only child at the time, very I guess always artsy. Like I've had a big imagination, so in my head, all these little plans emphasize that, and like all I can do is great parenting, guys. Thank you.
Let me see any other questions on here. How do you prepare yourself to do the podcast, and what's on your mind when you're singing?
Ooh, that's a good question. Whoever asked that question.
Same person that asked the question about the French, Spanish thing.
Good questions. Applaud you.
For the podcast, it's very simple. I mean, our setup, we put a camera right over here and a camera right over there.
Yeah.
We each have our respective cameras. We have each our respective microphones. We have our headphones so we can hear ourselves, make sure our levels are right. And at the moment, we're recording on a little device called the
Zoom H6.
Zoom H6, which records our audio into an SD card, which we later plug into the laptop, break down, put it into the video, or just export it, clean it up a little bit.
You know what's cool about like also these mics? Like you could be like, "Hey, my name is Gerald," and then when you get on this mic, you're like, "Hey, what's up? How you doing?"
Yeah, somebody said my voice is sexy.
Like, yeah, I love the Shure microphones. Like literally, I think these are the best podcast mics. They like really round off the voice. Like you get a good idea of the person's voice.
You know what's funny? Some of the podcasts that I listen to, I've checked out like some of their videos, because a lot of them do videos. Like Joe Rogan has these.
Yeah. Breakfast Club
has these. What else did I see the other day that had these? Well, anyway, these are really good.
Hot 97 uses the RE20, which I also have one of them.
Yeah.
But I think this one's great for the most nice one for radio and stuff.
Yeah. So it's super clean. So that's basically what we do to get ready for the podcast. And then, I mean, we have somewhat of a structure of what we want to talk about. Like I'll write a couple things throughout the week of like little notes of what I want to touch on while we're here. And but for the most part, we kind of just like have a conversation. Really.
It's interesting. We get into a different zone, and like I guess I have to be honest about this part, right? Because like Jay and I probably wouldn't talk like this to each other like in real life. It's more like blah 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 blah, pauses, and it's kind of like
we vent to each other a lot.
Yeah, we vent to each other a lot, and like this is more like a different aspect of how we communicate to each other and communicate to you guys. So it's more like broadcasting and I guess like letting loose.
Yeah. So it's a good combination of like
keeping you entertained,
entertainment, structure, freestyling, and just conversing.
Yeah. And I feel like most of the podcasts are set up like that.
For the most part. At least the ones that I listen to, and that's the ones I enjoy the most, the ones that sound natural. You know what I mean? It doesn't sound too structured. But I want to double back to the last episode when I was talking about the first recording that I ever did and how embarrassed I was to it. So I have a little idea. Kendall told me he found it.
Damn.
Right. And as embarrassing as it is, what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop up a little promo video.
For the song?
No. I'm going to chop up a little promo video. And if it gets a certain amount of likes,
you'll release it.
I will release it. Yeah. On the podcast Instagram page.
Okay.
I would post it. Or I would play it in a future episode.
You're playing with the devil, my friend.
Yeah, man.
So
this is what I'm doing to you guys. Doing for you guys. I'm going to show you my most embarrassing moment, the first recording I've ever recorded. And if it gets a certain amount of likes, I will play it for you guys on episode 26 of the podcast.
I like it.
Fucks with that.
I fucks with that.
Do you have the first recording that you've ever had?
I have it on a hard drive.
Want to bring that shit up too? Are you down for it?
I'm down for it.
Okay, cool. I got another version. Here we go. I could
double up on it.
And we'll compare it, see who was better.
I also have like the raw takes of anything that's ever been recorded by us. So like anybody messing up or whatever. It's like I have all those files.
Oh, okay. Whatever. So yeah, I wanted to touch upon that. So the last few days.
Second question though, wasn't there a second piece to what you were saying?
Oh, it's just what are you thinking about when we're recording?
Oh, okay.
It's not much recording. We could just. I mean, there's not much thinking. What's on your mind when you're singing is the question.
It's basically just matching the vibe of the song. Like you, as much as like the lyrics come out raw and stuff like that, like you're trying to match the vibe of the song. You're really trying to act. Like it doesn't matter whether you lived the song that you wrote or you didn't. You have to act out the emotion so the person feels it, because it's like you have to reset yourself in that moment or that situation that you created.
Yeah. And you also have to deliver it, because there's a certain vibe that you're feeling when you're writing it. And then once you deliver it, could be completely different.
True.
And it's funny when we write our own stuff too, like when we used to like write our individual verses before we started writing together.
Yeah.
You used to tell me, oh, recite it to me. And I'm like, no, not until it's finished, because it's always like a vibe. That was always my thing. But yeah, there's not much thinking to it. It's just making sure that you're in the pocket, make sure you deliver it the way that you had imagined that you wanted to deliver it, making sure you tweak it in the certain way that you deliver the vibe perfectly. Exactly. Like you said, it's like acting. Yeah. So it's like you're writing these lines for yourself, and you have to deliver it for the camera, quote unquote.
We got some new joints coming.
Yeah. I swear. We got another joint coming. In the meantime, you could stream Fallen, available on all audio streaming services, music streaming services.
Thank you to everybody that's like really been interacting with the page.
Yeah, man. I've been busting my ass with that page.
And
let me see. That's pretty much all the questions. Can you read this question in French?
Le français de dialecte comme l'espagnol dominicain ou anglais jamaïcain. Okay, so is there dialects to Dominican? Kind of like, is it just like English where it's like one thing?
Or is there dialects to French like there is in Spanish?
Yeah.
That's a good question. Are there any dialects in French?
Yeah, I mean, there's different. Like the thing is, there's French, but then I think there's
like, are there certain regions that say things differently?
There's one that like speaks more Celtic, but like I don't know if that would still be. It's like the French language is kind of new, if that makes sense, because like they said I guess the people who established France, which were like a lot of what did they call them? There's a specific word. It dates back because it's a mixture of people. It was kind of like they weren't even known as Germans or Spaniards, but everybody that was inhabiting Europe, there was like a group that were like, you know, they had like a whole different language back then. So there's just different accents. The more, you know, there's more of an influence from the north, I guess, like surrounding countries as you go north. Like as you go more east, there's like a German accent on the French side. Like if you go to Alsace, like that's a very mountainous area. They eat like more sausage and beer in France, but it's their own flavor of it. South, you hear like more
bangers and mash, French style.
More Mediterranean as you go south, so it's more that Italian influence. So it's more like tomatoes, eggplants used. That's where ratatouille comes from. Not the mouse.
The chef.
Yeah, it's actually, it's made of eggplant, peppers, zucchini, and it's in a tomato base type of thing with onions. And that's like more Mediterranean. There's a thing called herbes de Provence. It's like oregano, usually with
thyme. You're gonna say reggaeton.
It's with reggaeton. So yeah, it's kind of like that. And the West is just the West of France of what everybody else knows. So like when you see crepes, that comes from the west of France. You know,
can you tell where a certain person is from by their accent?
A little bit, yeah. Yeah, that like French people.
Yeah,
not like it's not like an American, but like Marseille, like in the south of France, is more like a fisherman's town. And like there's always this beef in soccer where like Marseille and Paris. So like Paris has its own swagger and like accent, and then Marseille has its own swagger.
So it's kind of like the U.S. really. Yeah,
because
like New York people have their accent. Southern people have a Southern accent.
Yeah.
People from Boston have their Boston accent.
Like a Parisian, like for me, like I was born in Paris, so I know that type of like Northern French accent where it's like "Comment ça va?" versus like down south, it'd be like "Comment ça va?" Like it's more like "Ba-da-da-da." Like they got that
more Italian.
Yeah, it's got like more of a jump to it, or
I
like that speed. Like it's different.
Yeah. I got you. Okay, that was a cool question.
Yeah.
Have you ever ran a red light? If you know what that means.
Oh yeah. Hell yeah.
Think dirty.
No, I have.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Now you're speaking my language. Like,
so for the guys over at the Miseducated Podcast, yes, we both ran right through a red light.
Yeah, I would have got many tickets by now.
Yeah, and almost T-boned somebody on the way through.
You know what I saw?
Intersection.
You know what I saw? It was like, I don't know. Somebody posted on Twitter or something. They were like, as a single woman, all the things my boyfriend made me insecure about, I noticed that men don't care about, which is cellulite, hair on the legs, fucking on a period, like all these things where it was like,
we don't give a shit.
No. So like if your dude's making you insecure about, I mean
he's
to
making
each
you
his
insecure about yourself. He's probably in the closet. Hot take for you. He doesn't deserve you, boo.
No, it's just one of those things. Like if it's all good, it's all good.
It's all good. So shout out to the Miseducated Podcast, guys.
Because even Amber Rose was talking about certain things where she's like, you know what? Even with guys, she's like, sometimes I like their scent. Like I like a little bit of that stank.
I think the word is musk.
Musk.
What sounds worse, musk or stank?
Stank.
Stank, yeah.
But then I think of Stankonia, I think of Outcast.
ATLians.
ATLians.
Yeah. Let me see. So there was a lot of stuff going on in the news the last few weeks.
Hit me.
So we haven't released an episode in a couple of weeks.
I feel like I've been, like, honestly, maybe it's refreshing. Like, I feel like I've been so disconnected with a lot. And it's because I've been moving. But, like, I kind of like it.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
it's good to be disconnected because it's like a lot of depressing stuff out there. That's why I don't like looking at the news or watching the news. Not
only that is depressing sometimes, I just feel like we become so... it becomes like habit to know everything. Mm-hmm. So nothing's interesting.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I love actually, I have no clue what's going on. Like, give me some information. Like, let life be a little more interesting.
I got you. Yesterday, 2 things happened. Cool. The impeachment of Trump.
Well, this I was seeing today, yeah.
Which is kind of dumb, but I'll get into that in a second. Yeah. And Mr. Tekashi 6ix9ine was sentenced to 24 months. He already served 13, I think.
That's another 2 years.
So he has another year.
Okay.
About another year. I think it's 11 months, something like that. But the 2 things I wanted to ask you are, 1, do you think he can sustain a career when he comes out?
Yeah, I guess in 2020. I mean, he still has his fans. They're going to see.
Do you think anybody's going to take a risk in... Because most artists these days make most of their money off of touring and like live shows.
To me, the sad part, and I don't think anybody should die, don't take it this way, but we'll lose Nipsey's, but we won't lose Tekashi's. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where it's like, I don't know. It's like the same thing now. Like, I don't think Trump should die, but it's like, where we have like certain people. Like, the thing is, I don't know. There's 2 takes for me on Trump. And this is a very neutral thing. Like, I don't care who comes at me for this, but it's like, I'm really speaking my mind on it.
You really jumped from Tekashi to...
Yeah. No, I was just thinking about it because it's in the same parallel where I'm like, Trump, yeah, he really doesn't represent just a humane level of he's for everybody. But at the same time, it's kind of like, I always feel like there's a backstory. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like there's he's frustrating a bigger source, and like this whole impeachment and stuff like that. Like, I don't know if it's good or bad anymore. That's the thing. I'm at that crossroad where it's like, is this good or bad? Like, even though he's like to me, he's not on a taste level that I would like probably get along with or respect. I'm just wondering, like, was he the first person to really get in there that wasn't supposed to be in there, and he's trying to switch something up, and like somebody's not liking that, and that's why this is happening? I try to like look further like that. Like, I don't want to play devil's advocate to that extent, but at the same time, like, where too many things come easily, or too many things are like, yes, we're going with this. Like, I'm like, hold up. Like, don't press that red button just because it feels or looks good, because then there's a trap door on this side, and then once that door closes, we're all fucked. So I don't know. I'm just saying it for always going to be in my conspiracy bag, but that's the way I see it.
You completely lost me.
Really?
Yeah.
How?
I had no idea what point you're trying to make.
But I'm saying, if they impeach him, right, are they just going to put somebody else again that looks good to the people, and like all this shit keeps going?
But see, that's the thing. I did my research, right?
Okay.
Apparently, according to the structure, impeaching some president doesn't mean they're going to remove him from office.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So the impeachment technically is only like a little tarnish on his record, which I don't believe he gives a fuck about.
No.
The next step would be if Senate needs to rule at least, I think it's 75%.
It's like firing somebody when they already have like their 2 weeks in. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's not going to be president for that much longer.
Well, kind of, yeah.
Unless he was trying to go for another 4.
Which he probably is. Yeah. But the thing is, most of the Senate is Republican. So somebody put it in this perspective. They said that it's like, hold on, let me look it up so I don't fuck this up.
Well, it's kind of like, it's like somebody taking somebody to court, but like most of the people that are the jury are like your homies. That's the way I see it.
Damn, I forgot who posted it. So it's kind of like, hold on, I think I might have retweeted it. If I retweeted it, I'll read it for you guys real quick, and I probably did not, so I can fuck that up. But anyway, it's kind of like, there's really nothing about impeaching that it's like, everybody thinks that, okay, he got impeached, he's going to leave the office tomorrow. But apparently he has to stand in front of Senate. 75% of Senate has to vote. Most of them are Republican. They're not all.
You know what else people fail to understand? It's not like everybody goes. It's the vice president steps up.
Yeah. And I hear that he's not any good either.
So it's like, I don't know, you guys getting all hype, but like, you gotta like,
gotta do your research before.
A little more
post.
research.
Yeah,
like,
that's why I started doing my research, and it's like, okay, he's been impeached. Okay, what the hell does that mean? And on top of all that, he still has to go to trial.
Bill Clinton was impeached, found guilty, and still.
Yeah. Apparently, so 3 presidents have been impeached, from my knowledge, including Trump. Yeah. He's the 3rd one to be impeached. None of them have been removed from office.
There you go.
So that's where we're at.
And plus, he doesn't have that much longer. Even if it like just does.
It's like, you can't fire me. I quit.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. It's kind of stupid.
Okay, here it is. Oh no, that's not it. Fuck, I got excited.
So, like, how do you see from this standpoint, right? Because I know, like, again, it's obvious. Like, I'm not biggest fans of Trump as a person and all that, right? They're saying that the economy is 10 times better than it was because of him.
Probably. I don't know. I don't follow politics at all. Yeah. And way less now, because the last 4 years, president wise, has been a blur. Yeah. Like, I'll see Trump here and there, and it's just like, okay, whatever.
I really thought, it's funny, like, you know how like everybody was like so paranoid, where it was like, oh my God, I'm moving to Canada, we're all gonna die. Yeah. All these things, and now we're just here like,
yeah. We're all living, man. We all out here. Okay, here it is. So, and this guy named Roy Wood Jr., not Roy Woods, OVO, Roy Woods. Some guy on Twitter said, in this instance, impeachment is you and your homegirls having all the evidence that your man is cheating, but to break up with him, you got to convince a jury of his frat brothers who were there with him cheating that your man is a cheater.
Interesting.
So that's basically what the impeachment is.
Gotcha.
So now he has to stand in front of Senate. Senate has to like I said, about 70 to 75% vote in order to remove him from office, which is not going to happen.
But what if a majority of those dudes want to bang his homegirl?
Hey.
Watch the tables turn.
That's a completely different story. But yeah, man. So do your research, people. Impeachment doesn't mean anything. He's gonna be here for another year or so. So
all right.
Yeah. And Tekashi, I feel like before he went in, I don't think a lot of people were taking risks as far as booking him for shows because of the violence they feel or the liability to having somebody such as him.
Should he even really be on our radar?
What do you mean?
Just in general. Like, should anybody even be worried about him?
It's not that anybody's worried about him.
Not worried about him, like concerned to what might happen to Tekashi 6ine.
No. I'm just putting a figurative thing out there.
I know. I just like
for me, society.
For me, it's like I don't know. Like anything is possible in this society. Like usually, what I think, the complete. If I think something's hot now, it's usually the society thinks it sucks. Or like I don't know. I see like a lot of opposites in my personal taste, where I'm like, it's like
this is where you have to step out of yourself and given the information.
Yeah.
What do you think? Can he sustain
they're going to entertain it.
Career?
They're going to entertain it. And that's the same reason like Trump's in office. It's about ratings. So the more that there's more commotion and more like debauchery, the more there's drama, like people.
But how do you think he can monetize that?
Because that's what people live off of. So like if he says something wild, if he angers people by getting like a $20 million deal from like Sony, like Sony will put it out there because it's going to generate cash. Like having him show up at shows is going to generate cash because it's going to be like, they don't care that his life is on the line. It's like, it's entertainment. It's, like, it's as good as the gladiator times. You throw somebody in the pit, you see how much blood can be drawn and the crowd goes wild once again.
But what I'm saying, like before he went in, not a lot of people were taking the risk of booking him for shows. And now it's going to be even worse.
Yeah, I feel like the floodgates will open. It's the nerdy girl that got hot syndrome. It's like, it's kind of like in the one thing where like everybody turned their heads to it because they didn't want to entertain it. But now, because it has a certain spotlight on it, like people are like, what's up though? And that's it. We live in a society where, again, it's like dance, clown, dance, and everybody's there laughing, and then somebody dies and they're like, oh man, but you took it too far though. Well, you're the one that was applauding this to happen. So I just feel like, again, the more insane it can get, the more drama it has. Like, I feel like people are not gonna like Kanye now, or they're not gonna even give him attention because, quote unquote, he's doing the right thing. So people can't like really bash on him anymore. The more he said like wild stuff, the more he's gonna stay on TMZ. The more, like, that's what Trump does beautifully. Like, he just says wild shit and people like, oh my God, that really got to me. Like, I can't believe you said that about, the LGBT community, or like, I can't believe you said that about that person in a wheelchair. People like that stuff. It's like a weird fetish. I feel like people have weird fetishes where they're like, they might not say it themselves, but they're like, ooh, I love this drama. It's kind of like your mom's friend that's always like, Mira, listen, you ever hear about Betty down the street? And your mom's like, I can't stand that bitch.
Man, my fucking family talks about, this is how it works in my family. Female A talks to female B about female C. Okay. When female A hangs up on female B and calls female C, they're talking about female B.
Yeah. Well, this is how social media works. This is how media works in general. So if you can create that commotion, TMZ probably makes the most money. And not the most money, but I'm saying it's like one of those sources. It's like the shade room. How much does the shade room has become like the CNN of ratchet news or just news in general. Like, that's where we find out like our celebrity status news, and that's it. Like, that's what people like. Like, if you really want to make quick money, easy money, you just get into that whole like start flipping the lines and the words a little bit and then start that commotion. That's it. That's why I feel like for people that stay true to themselves, for sure, you're going to get applauded sometime in your life, but it's not now. And I don't feel like, I think we had this conversation where you said, everybody likes to be ratchet. Everybody likes to twerk. At the end of the day, like, everybody smokes weed, right? You think like a priest or a politician, all these astute people, like everybody likes to get down once in a while, even if it's a glass of whiskey. So like at the end of the day, I think we're all a little animalistic at the end of the day, and we like to see this shit.
Okay. We just went into this one tunnels, went through something else, came out the other side.
It's all connected,
okay,
though.
Where are we at?
It's all connected. It's all connected that we have this.
Okay, listen. Straightforward.
Yeah.
Don't try to break this down into some conspiracy theory.
It's not.
How do you think he can monetize his career moving forward?
Exactly how that? Because
no. Tell me, is he going to have a reality show? Is he going to monetize his Instagram page? Is he going to get money off streams? Is anybody going to take risks?
They're going to give him shows. Booking him shows. They're going to give him shows. They're just going to have him show up.
But how?
Just like a bottle girl.
That's impossible.
He's just going to show up and
like nobody's going to take that risk. Would you? As a venue owner?
I don't know.
You would take that risk?
Some people
knowing that people are going to try him, you want to take that safety risk?
Some people might, because the thing is, they're gonna know. Like the thing is, I feel like they're not gonna care. Like they might think damage cost versus what they're like pulling in, and then that's when they're gonna say, okay, it evens out. So that like even if somebody like, okay, like the thing is, it's gonna happen in New York, right? We've had situations where Diddy and J-Lo, even Diddy got caught in the club with some heaters, right? That was a big scandal. No, it broke them. It was huge, right?
I forgot about that.
But it's true. Wasn't
like it Diddy's guns? She like took.
Yeah, like she left Diddy. Like they were like the hottest couple, but like there's the gun charges. Like unfortunately, we've dealt with a lot of deaths too. You know, like due to like violence and stuff like that. So to me, it's New York. It can happen. There's no way.
That's the situation where Shine got caught up, right? And got locked up. I think he took the blame for it.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Okay. But for me, there's always somebody. Again, there could be a Shine in the situation where like somebody on the team is like, oh, I'll take an L just so you can get back on or whatever. And there's a lot of club owners that they will go to that extent. Like I said, like I don't put it past anybody, man. I really don't. And I'm just being honest in that sense. Like I don't hope anybody gets hurt in the situation. I hope nothing happens, even including him, man. It's like, okay, like he's a young guy. Like if you continue to do the wrong thing, sure, like let your end come. But like
Jesus,
no, but I'm because like if he decides to be like a decent person and like whatever, like I learned my lesson, like I never want to get into this again, then let him breathe. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you can tell somebody just wants to do the wrong thing, then there will be consequences. And it goes for the same person that decides to hire him. And that's, like I'm saying, a show. Even you can get caught up at Hot 97 or anything else. Like, there could be violence. So it's like somebody could get hurt. So, like, it's New York. People don't care about running up in places, getting past bodyguards, shooting up the lobby. So
it's gonna be that one crazy person.
Yeah, there's gonna be the one person that pulls the trigger because that's just the way it goes. I don't see nothing happening. That's all I'm saying. I see bookings, I see show ups, I see book signings. I don't see a
Tekashi biography.
I don't think I see a reality show though.
Yeah,
I don't.
I can't see that working though. I can't see anything working for him.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean,
because he's going to be on probation or parole, so he can't really go anywhere. He's going to be stuck in New York unless he can monetize his Instagram somehow, which is possible, but
that's why I said
who's going to really associate themselves
with very important to who's in power with the radio stations and television and all that, because it's like either they say we don't want this influence to keep going amongst our society in general.
I heard Power 105 doesn't want him up there anymore.
Yeah, because then the thing is too, you're fueling it. You're fueling a certain ideal, like it's okay to act like this. And that's what a lot of this social media and stuff like has made people believe is cool.
Mm-hmm.
So
speaking of which, rest in peace to Juice WRLD. Which brings me to
that one confuses me, man.
The idea of all these little rappers glorifying drug use. Because there's two things, right? So if you look at a, let's say, Rolling Loud crowd, right?
Okay.
What do you think is mostly consisted of, race-wise?
Weed smokers. Or race-wise?
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, like they say, like most rappers I hear, like they make most of their money from like white communities.
Mm-hmm. So younger white kids.
Yeah.
So younger white kids are either in a situation where they'll listen to this kind of music and they'll be like, okay, maybe they're trying to mask something mental health wise. So they'll pick up some of these drugs that these kids are rapping about and then kind of just to self-medicate for whatever trauma or mental health issues that they have. And then on top of, well, not on top of it, but on the other route, it would be Kevin from down the street thinks it's cool because Trippie Redd says it's cool to drink this, or Ugly God says it's okay to, mind you, I don't know if any of these guys rap about that stuff, but
I don't even think it's a young thing
mm-hmm.
because I saw literally, this is crazy, I saw guys our age doing lean like it was cool again.
Mm-hmm. Well, Future was promoting that for quite some time, and then supposedly he let it go.
Yeah, but it's still it doesn't like
Lil
for me.
Wayne was doing it for a while too.
Sure, if you're younger,
Rick Ross.
even more
influenced.
Yeah, more influenced or impressionable.
Mm-hmm.
But even like I see like even the older you get, like too, it's still there. You know.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's like people like they see other people drinking. Oh, it's no problem. This and that gets out of hand.
Yeah. I don't know, man. When it comes to drugs, it's just like whatever. Everybody has their vices, but
with Juice WRLD, like I didn't get it because for me, his music didn't give me that vibe where like he sounded like a little down, but he didn't sound like the guy that was like super drugged up. Like they said, I think maybe you told me or what I heard was cops were about to search him, so he downed too many.
Well, from what I read, he was on a private jet, and that the pilot or somebody on the plane saw that he had like pounds and pounds of weed and drugs and guns on the plane, and they had called the police, and the police were waiting for him at the airport.
Okay.
So instead of taking whatever it is that he any consequences that he was supposed to get, he decided to, the reports say, take the drugs, hide them, and yeah, that led to his seizure. And
I mean, I don't know. It could be as simple as that, or I don't know. There's so many people that go disappearing, especially in the rap game. I feel like they make the industry some money and then they get rid of them somehow.
Yeah, which this is so funny to me. Not funny, but it's so weird to me that record labels want to invest, and this is nothing to do with Juice WRLD at all, but just like in these people, like let's say Tekashi, whatever, he's the hot thing that was going on at the time. So why is it that you want to invest in someone that you can only make money off of momentarily? Like, wouldn't you want to invest in somebody like, I don't know, like a Drake or a J. Cole or a Kendrick, or even, I don't know, anybody along those lines of like a Juice WRLD or something that you can make money off of for years and years and years and years to come?
Well, I would say like Jay-Z. Jay-Z is more like a long time interest type of investor. So Jay-Z's not doing more like the dividends. And then I'm talking more like, again, in stock terms. So like dividends, like sometimes you buy into a stock because the payout, you'll get a little bit each month and it's quicker. You're never going to get that high amount because it's never going to like peak that high. Sometimes you just get like these quick cuts and that satisfies people. Versus someone like you said, like you can, it doesn't look too good right now, but it just keeps growing every year, right? So for me, when they get this quick money, a lot of the times, it's not only quick money now, it's like huge money because of the popularity of trap music. So it's like, we just got 30 million. We just got 60 million. You know, and it just keeps going like those chops. It's not like small chops and this like it's huge records. Like huge records. And
do you think it's because of people's attention spans or do you think they're going in it like, okay, let's...
One, it's the attention span. Two, it's like, how do I say that? It's kind of like weed too. How many different types of weed are there? But it's all just weed, right? It's just different flavors, but people are interested in it. It's like, oh, let me get a little bit of Skywalker. Let me get a little bit of blue cheese. Let me get a whatever you want to name it. Everybody wants to try something different, but it's all basically the same basis. You know what I'm saying? Not too crazy. And that's how it is, I feel, in the trap game. Again, you said it yourself. Attention spans, social media, quick. Let's just dish it out. And then, again, I don't even think it's conspiracy, but when you think about hip-hop police, when you think about people that are putting out conscious music versus, again, what makes drama makes money. What makes drama makes money. What's conscious might not make money, but it's gonna build the community. So when you're trying to keep a certain amount of people down, it continues the cycle.
Yep. Yeah, man. So that's pretty much it on my end, at least.
Cool.
You have anything before we get out?
Yeah. Basically, speaking, I don't think we spoke on this artist. Like we haven't had a gallery thing. Maybe we spoke on the last podcast, but I was listening to St. John a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And what I like about him is that he can play both sides. He has a lot of like conscious music,
mm-hmm.
and he has a lot of just like turn up music. But even within the turn up music, it's like it's well written.
Mm-hmm.
Like because I guess he's a writer first.
Yeah.
So like stuff like that is dope, and I see him doing like a lot of big things. If you guys haven't heard St. John yet, he's a up and coming artist. He wrote a lot of dope songs. I think one for like Beyonce as well.
Mm-hmm.
But it's artists like that I feel like in 2020, and I'm bringing this up because I feel like 2020 is just gonna keep bringing like a certain amount of truth. Like I feel like 2020 is gonna leave what we're talking about, a lot of that stuff behind, because it's time that it's like 2020 sounds futuristic. People are going to be 2020 vision. Like everything I feel is going to be like more concentrated. Like there might be a thing where like you have to be super dope with something to really get on. I feel like maybe there'll be less passageways, or it could be the complete opposite where it just doubles. So now there's even more traffic. It's like LA traffic times 2 of just artists trying to get on.
Yeah. I mean, with the technology out these days, I think it's always going to be like that.
Yeah.
Because Joe Schmo from down the street can just have like a little setup, even record it into their iPhone and put that shit out. If people gravitate towards it, they're going to gravitate towards it. No matter the audio quality, no matter, I don't know, how he recorded it or she recorded it. As long as it gets into the right hands and the right ears, it'll get somewhere. Because that's how XXX got. Like his first song was terrible quality.
What
they got on the radio?
What are your predictions for 2020? Like, just in case, we'll probably have a podcast coming into the new year.
Mm-hmm.
But like, what are some predictions of like, you know, like those? I guess since it's a whole 2020 sounds futuristic. Like we've even seen Tesla start like a new design with a car. Like, are we gonna see more futuristic vibes? Just because it's like a whole new turn.
Yeah. I mean, as the years go by, technology gets better, obviously. And I think when people start figuring things out, more and more futuristic things will be coming out. Because I've seen a guy fucking hover in the air like Iron Man the other day.
Yeah.
He had like a jetpack or like some propel shit from his hands and stuff.
What's your projection in the sense, like based off of something that you know? Like we know 8K is the highest we have now for movie recordings. Will we see it? Do you think we'll see a 12K?
I think eventually.
Like, will it come next
Eventually,
year?
you're going to have like a fucking human pop out of your TV screen. Or it's going to be like a box inside your house, right? And you're going to have actual humans acting out stuff.
I feel like holograms are going to be more... But the thing is with holograms, like from a scientific level, you need some type of mist to project onto. So you need like smoke or like some type of like fluid that goes in the air that you can project the light off of, like tiny bubbles or whatever.
Yeah.
So like we're either in between that or like VR, but virtual reality, like I don't know. Like,
I mean, VR has been out for a minute. Like a lot of video games are like VR these days.
Yeah.
Where it's like you put the goggles on or whatever. Even porn is like that now.
Yeah.
Put the goggles on.
You can look all around the room.
Yeah, you look all around the room. I even saw that there's a camera that you could sit courtside at a basketball game.
Interesting.
You literally throw the things on and you're courtside. Like you look this way, the players are going that way. You look this way, players are going that way.
Amazing. And that's live?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Pretty sure it's live. Yeah.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah. I forget what phone company had it. Pretty sure it's like a Samsung phone that has like the thing that you put on in front of your face like this.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
So,
well, I'm interested. Like anybody that listened into this podcast, maybe you guys can leave in the comments what you guys think is going to be the big new trend in 2020. Whether it's like an aesthetic, it could be fashion too. Like I feel like a lot of things have been stagnant. Like Fashion Nova has been taken over for so long. That's so mainstream. Like. We need something new.
Now.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we need something new, and I feel like 2020 needs to explode with a bunch of new technology, a bunch of new fashion.
I feel like if it's any time, it's definitely going to be 2020.
Yeah.
It just sounds like a cool day.
Yeah, it's like
date. I mean,
it was January 1st, 2020.
So, yeah, I mean that's pretty much it for me.
I'm excited to see Star Wars. It comes out. Well, it's kind of like already here, but
it will be.
All my Star Wars fans,
comes out.
Bam, go see The Rise of Skywalker. It's the end of everything.
Did you finish Mandalorian?
I've been watching the episodes as they come out.
I've been hearing good things about Mandalorian.
Yeah. If you guys don't know the synopsis, it's pretty cool. So it's basically Mandalorian is kind of like an equivalent to a Spartan type of warrior. It's like
Isn't he a bounty hunter?
Yeah, he's a bounty hunter.
Okay.
So like basically Mandalorians are Spartan bounty hunters. They are trained to bounty hunt. And that's how they make their money.
Does he speak?
He speaks.
Does he ever take the helmet off?
No.
Do you think he takes it off to have sex?
No, he takes it off, but he never takes it in front off for anybody. They can't see his identity. And the cool part about it is
do you think they'll eventually reveal that?
Probably not.
Okay.
Maybe like somebody else will see it, but you'll never see it.
Is his identity like a thing that everybody was like, yo, who is under that mask type of thing?
They know him because he has a name. Like they know him as a personality.
So they know who he is.
Yeah, they call him Mando.
Man, that's lazy writing for you.
But the thing that's cool about it is that it's kind of like in a video game sense, right? The Mandalorians work for a certain type of metal. That's the currency. And that metal is beyond strong. So like somebody will give him like 5 pieces of this metal and that'll be really, really expensive for like a job. But then he'll create it into like a shoulder piece that protects him or like another part of his chest.
Upgrade his suit.
Yeah. Like he brings all these pieces to like liquidate to make them into liquid and a new piece of armor. So the thing is, you can tell how good a Mandalorian is by his armor.
Swag.
Yeah, which is dope. So they send him on a mission and he's like, what am I supposed to be doing? They're like, you'll find out, like you're supposed to be like getting this creature or whatever, like they want to do tests on. And he finds out it's a baby and it's Baby Yoda. So Baby Yoda, the thing is,
anything?
No, I'm not spoiling anything. It's basically the synopsis, and then it's like, since everybody sees Baby Yoda.
So this is a prequel?
Yeah, this is a prequel. So like the thing is, he's not supposed to, because any of his jobs he has to be heartless. But this child captures some type of emotion in him.
Tugs at his heartstrings.
So once he finds his baby, everything turns around and he gets in a lot of situations.
Okay. So, are there female Mandalorians?
Yes.
Would they be named Manda?
Mandalorians? Maybe.
Since his name is Mando, what are the other Mandalorians' name?
Could be.
Or do you think they just gave him that nickname because he is a Mandalorian? And
Could
they're
be.
like, yo, let's just call him Mando.
Because they show him
who's under there.
They show him at least as a kid. Okay. So you know he's a human. Because the other ones, like Boba Fett, is supposed to be actually like...
I was going to say, isn't Boba Fett a Mandalorian?
Yeah, but he's like supposed to be like a creature that's like...
They showed his face, though.
That's supposed to be really ugly.
Okay.
Like, he's supposed to be really ugly.
But they never show him under there.
No.
Okay.
But like he was like a top tier bounty hunter assassin. And they usually, again, you tell by the armor.
Okay.
Or how much...
So Boba Fett and the Mandalorian, Mr. Mando, are two completely different characters.
They're completely two different. Yeah.
Gotcha. I thought they were going to link that somehow.
No. But they're supposed to create, after the Star Wars movie, I think into next year, they're going to create a Boba Fett
I heard about that. I thought that's what this was supposed to be.
No. This is just something that nobody expected, and it's actually really good.
That's what I hear.
Yeah. I like the music that they composed in it, too. It's like very eerie, westerny, but futuristic. It's cool.
Why? What have I watched on Netflix lately? I started watching Living Undocumented. It's very depressing.
It is very. I watched the whole thing. But I mean, on Disney Plus, I love The World According to Jeff Goldblum. It's a really, really interesting show. If you like Jeff Goldblum, or
I want to be as cool as him when I grow up.
First episode, I think, is like about sneakers. Second episode's about ice cream. It's like really cool.
So it's just following him around.
Yeah, and his perspective on it. And
must be very wacky perspectives, you know, because he's like a very wacky person.
I must think that yes, no, yeah. Mm-hmm. It's a whole lot of that, and it's like
must be cool.
You smell those cookies?
Yeah, it smells really good.
That's holiday for you.
But anyway, I guess that's us wrapping this up.
Yep.
Episode 25 of the Terrible Reception Podcast. Happy holidays, everybody.
Yes.
Make sure you go to YouTube, like, subscribe, turn on the bell notification. That way you get notifications when we post videos. Like I said, if it's a podcast video, you'll get a notification. If it's a music video, if it's a lyric video, which we're going to make more of in the near future. Shout out to the Vision Room. Allowed us to use their space for all the stuff that we always wanted to use the space for. Apple Podcasts.
Yes.
Leave a rating, leave a review, and also Spotify Podcasts. Just follow us. So that way you get a notification every time we release an episode. And shout out to my cousin that made this really dope shirt, Emilio.
Hey. All right, so maybe we can entertain a little bit of that followers thing where they wanted us to speak different languages.
Mm-hmm.
So in French, there's Joyeux Noël.
Mm-hmm.
So you can say that.
Feliz Navidad.
Feliz Navidad.
Mm-hmm. What was it?
Joyeux Noël.
Joyeux Noël.
Boom.
Now, with that being said,
Merry Christmas.
Dale con el intro and the outro.
Oh.
How do you say that in French?
I don't know.
How do you say hit him in French?
See, I go blank. It's like it's
Pitbull, dale.
Dale.
Dale with the intro.
Dale
con el intro.
This thing is, see, you have the beauty of using it more often. Where? Yeah.
Well.
But the thing is,
so for anybody that thought he was going to speak French on this episode, it's not going to happen.
No.
So
I go like a little. It's like the weirdest thing. Like I know it. Like I'll know it once we get off. But once I'm like under that pressure, I like literally go blank. Maybe it's a different type of drama we were talking about. But let's hit him with the intro and the outro. Wow.